All right, good morning. I'm going to try this. In theory, the microphone works to help you hear me and not all of the chatter that's going on in my house. So we'll see. And then we'll set up for a 1 hour / 65-minute vinyasa practice, and then an extra bonus 5-minute meditation at the end. So let's get started in a comfortable seat on your mat. So finding whatever works for you is the most important part. So noticing if you can be just a little bit more comfortable and doing whatever it takes to find that position for yourself. So rock from side to side, smooth out any uncomfortable edges, notice, and this goes for meditation too, right? If you're already uncomfortable at the beginning, then after 5 minutes, you're still going to be uncomfortable. So do whatever it takes to find that comfortable spot first. So you can shift maybe one ankle in front of the other, maybe one crossed on top. And then once you've found that seat and you've noticed that you're grounded and rooted and supported underneath, then find extension in your spine. So lengthening between each vertebrae. And then maybe allowing your shoulders to drop away from your ears. You'll see yogis with their palms up in this position. That usually means they are ready to receive any additional information or insight. Sometimes you can go palms down, which just means you need to go within. So honor whatever feels right for you today. And begin to draw your attention to your breath. Deepening your breath, lengthening each inhale and each exhale, but also softening. Soften your face. Soften any areas where you notice any tension or tightness or pain. Energetically sending your awareness to those areas and just imagining them gaining softness, gaining a smoothness, gaining that sensation of ease. And if you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, that ocean breath, feel free to engage that audible inhale and exhale through the nose. Maybe imagining that ocean wave lapping onto the shore and then receding back to the sea. Or if a 3-part breath serves you today, feel free to do that when you first breathe into your belly and then fill your lungs and then exhale, let everything go. When you're ready, you can lift your gaze, lift your eyelashes, and then we'll start today just by placing our hands together at our heart, and then we'll go inward one more time by drawing your chin towards your chest here for a nice stretch in the back of your neck. So continue with your awareness on your breath, but then also just notice how the sides of your neck and the back of your neck can feel a little stretch here. As you bow your mind intelligence to your heart intelligence. One more complete breath here. Just taking the time to slow it down so we can engage our proprioception skills, right? Awareness of our body and where it is in space. And then go ahead and lift your chin. Bring your arms out to the sides and then up to the sky as you inhale. And then we'll exhale, set one hand down near your hip. Inhale to stretch that arm up to the fingertips to the sky, and then exhale to open up to the side. So allowing that your seat to stay grounded, and the stretch to start from your hip all the way up to your shoulder and up through your fingertips. Gazing at the ceiling if you can. And then on the next inhale, stretch that arm up to the sky. Exhale to release the palm to the mat. Inhale, stretch your opposite arm way up, find length. And then exhale to open up to the side. Letting your arm drape over your ear instead of forward over your front body, so you can keep this opening in your heart and your rib cage as well. Just a slight turn of your rib cage toward the ceiling. We'll repeat with more fluidity. Inhale, lift the arm up. Exhale, release the palm down. Inhale, bring that other arm back up to the sky. Exhale to open, maybe going a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the other arm. Exhale, open up again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to release out of that, come up. Exhale that hand behind you this time. And then bring the other arm behind you as well. Pinky fingers reaching toward each other, lifting your heart as you inhale, drawing your shoulder blades together, gazing up at where the ceiling and the sky meet. So just a gentle lift of your chin here as well. And then on your next exhale, release out of that. Walk your fingers forward away from your body, and then melt your mind and your heart toward the mat. Taking a moment to go within here. Keeping energy in your wrists and your hands and your forearms, so you're not releasing completely to the mat, but you're getting a nice stretch in your arms and your shoulder blades as you broaden them from side to side. And then walk your hands back up towards your body as you inhale. And then exhale to release your shoulders away from your ears. And we'll take a moment to switch the cross of our legs. So whichever foot is on top, place that to the bottom, or whichever foot is in front, move that to the back. And then we'll begin. Find your seat again. Lengthen your spine. And then bring your arms out to the side, palms facing up, even with your shoulders. Inhaling here. Exhaling, palms press together at your heart, really pressing so there's energy between your elbows, right, from elbow to elbow. And then inhale, lift both arms up to the sky. And then twisting with your full torso, turn over one leg. Drop your back hand behind you, fingers facing away. Other arm crosses over. Find length in your spine as you inhale. And then exhale, gaze at the horizon or over your back shoulder if that's okay with your neck. And if this is too much, you can always keep your hands pressing at your heart as you twist your torso fully. Inhale to return to center. Exhale, releasing your shoulders. Inhale, palms lift even with your shoulders. Exhale, press your palms together. Inhale, reach your palms to the sky. And then exhale, turn your torso over your other leg. Drop both arms, one behind you, one crossing over. And then find length as you inhale and exhale to twist. With each inhale, imagine your spine lengthening. With each exhale, imagine going a little deeper into the twist. Returning to center on your next inhale, rolling your shoulders away from your ears as you exhale. And then one at a time, drawing those fingers back behind you and together again, opening up your heart, drawing your shoulder blades together. And then on your exhale, bring your hands back in front of you, keeping energy in the hands, walk them out away from you, and then melt your mind and your heart toward the mat one more time. On your inhale, walk your hands back up towards your body. As you exhale, Draw your shoulders away from your ears. And then let's bring our hands to our heart one more time. There's lots of science here about how this is, there's a reason why this is the picture that you see in all those spiritual paintings and sculptures for centuries, right? That there is some evidence that simply bringing your hands together helps elevate your vibration, let's say. So draw your elbows in opposition to each other. Like, yeah, I see it. Good job. You're creating some energy there. And then inhale and really press your hands together. Really, like you're really pushing against something. And then exhale, release that pressure, but keep your hands together. 2 more times. Inhale, press and hold. Exhale, hold, but release. Inhale, press. Exhale, retain, but release the press. There's so many ways to describe this. And then let's release our hands to the mat and we'll find ourselves in a tabletop position. It's funny, I was doing a video for yoga to reduce stress, and so many of the poses that she did are the poses that I lead us in all the time. So just when I was feeling like I needed to shake things up, I was reminded that what we do is just fine also. So we'll continue with the warm-up that we normally do. We'll start finding our knees under our hips and our wrists under our shoulders. Start with a flat back, and then when you begin to engage your breath, go ahead and inhale, drop the navel toward the mat. Lift your heart, your tailbone, your gaze. And then exhale, push away from the mat. Let your navel reach for your spine, the spine toward the sky, round through your shoulder blades here. Allowing your chin and your tailbone to tuck slightly. Inhale, return to cow pose. Exhale, press back to cat pose. And then you can continue simply with cats and cows, or you can begin to incorporate your hips. Adjusting your hips to one side and gazing over the other shoulder, and then switching the hips to the other side to look over your opposite shoulder, or taking half circles or full circles with your hips along the mat, just remembering to marry your body's movement to your breath. As you do so, maybe inhaling to the top and exhaling to the bottom. And then when you're ready, you can pause and switch the direction of your rotation. And just noticing how it feels in your body. You are the practitioner, right? You are the expert in your own body. So knowing what works for you and what doesn't, and honoring those needs. And then when you're ready, returning to a neutral tabletop position. And this time tucking our toes, hovering our knees just above the mat for an inch or two here, drawing your navel in towards your spine, and then bringing your awareness of your side bodies in toward the midline. Broaden through your shoulder blades here. Press into all 10 fingertips, especially that index finger and your thumb. That bottom index knuckle always wants to pop up. So if you notice that it's lifted, go ahead and press it back down. And then keeping the left knee lifted, step the right toes back, set the left knee down, and then just move forward and back on your mat to wake up your calf muscle and the sole of your right foot. Trying to keep all 5 toes on the right foot in contact with the mat as you do so. And then returning to neutral, go ahead and lift the right toes off the mat, find length in that right leg, press it back into that imaginary wall behind you, and then stretch our left arm forward, finding length here from fingertips to heel. And then when you're ready, inhale here and exhale, draw your elbow and knee to meet. Inhale to find length. Exhale, elbow to knee. Continue with elbows to knees 3 more rounds, or open up to the side, left arm coming left, right leg coming right. You can always cactus the arm and bend the knee if you wish to, especially if you're working in a smaller space than you normally would. And then last time, inhale to lengthen and exhale to find your tabletop position. Do your nice flat back first to create that room. Each disc of your vertebrae has that synovial fluid in between, so we want to just allow it to return to normal, and then do a cat and a cow to reset. We always say cats and cows, but we always do cows and cats. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes, hover your knees,
Find your midline again. Hug everything in. Press all 10 knuckles into the mat. Broaden through your shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, keep that right knee lifted. Step your left toes back and then set the right knee down so we can work our calf muscle and the sole of our left foot. All 5 toes staying in contact. And then reaching forward and back with the crown of your head and the heel of your foot. Return to neutral. Go ahead and lift those toes off the mat. Extend your right arm in front of you, finding length from fingertips to heel of the left foot. And then when you're ready, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Continue with elbows to knees for 3 more rounds, or open up right arm to the right, left leg to the left, either helicoptering or with bent knee and bent elbow. If your leg is long, try to keep your toes tracking down. And then when you return to center on your last inhale, ground back into that tabletop position. Nice neutral spine. Good. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips, heading into our first down dog of the day. So being gentle with yourself here as you wake up your entire body, walking your dog, bending one knee, straightening the other leg. Trying to keep your toes tracking toward the top edge of the mat, your heels tracking back. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't, that's fine. And then when you're ready, inhale, both heels lift up toward the sky. Lift your tailbone as well. And then as you exhale, begin to keep your tailbone where it is, or try to, and then lower your heels back down toward the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, heels lift, tailbone lifts, and then exhale, heels track down, but maintain that lift in your tailbone. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release the heels toward the mat. Good. This time, inhale, both heels lift. And then exhale, swing them over to the left. So you can bend the left knee, straightening the right leg and pressing the outer right hip up toward the sky for that release in your IT band. One more full breath here. Remembering to keep your body weight of your torso balanced between both hands. So your torso still looks like you're in a down dog, essentially. That's the idea anyway. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend both knees. So you're shifting your hips toward the ground and you're hoping that your sticky mat stays sticky. And then you can change the stretch from your hip to your shoulder and your right side. So lengthening your right side body here too. And then on your next inhale, straighten your legs, bring your heels back through center, and then exhale them over to the right side. Bending that right knee generously, lifting the outer left hip up toward the sky. Staying balanced in your front body. And then bending that left knee, shifting the stretch from your IT band to your left side body. So lowering your hips and bringing your awareness to your left hip to left shoulder. Remembering to breathe, noticing if you're clenching anywhere, bringing softness to that area. And then straightening and returning the heels to center on your inhale. Bring your feet at least hip width apart just for support, and then begin to walk your hands all the way back to the back of the mat. Nice. Go ahead and inhale here and lift halfway, just to release some of that pressure from being in the inversion for so long. Good. So find length from your tailbone to your crown. Notice if your shoulders are creeping up close to your ears and bring them away. You can press into your thighs or your calves if you wish, and then you can kind of deepen the stretch in your hamstring here too, right? Let's hang out here for 1 more breath.
And then on your next exhale, release back down into that forward fold. Allow the crown of your head to reach toward the mat. You can bend your knees generously and even set your rib cage on your thighs if you wish. And then when you're ready, maybe grab opposite elbows here and just do some small rotations, little half circles from the outer edge of one foot to the outer edge of the other. Allowing your forearms to reach toward the mat as well. So your forearms and the crown of your head are heavy. And you're marrying your body's movement to your breath even here. And then returning to center, go ahead and release your hands toward the mat. Interlace your peace fingers between your big toe and the next toe. Inhale to lift halfway. So you're straightening your spine, you're looking forward, and then exhale. Allow the elbows to bend out and open up as you draw your crown of your head toward the mat. Well, I find this to be a nice stretch in my shoulder blades, shoulders. And then release out of that, release your finger from between your toes. And then just take a moment here to nod your head yes to love, including self-love. And to shake your head no to hate, including self-hate. And then when you're ready, look forward and walk your hands back out to the top of the mat. And find yourself in your plank position. Maybe it's knees down, so you have this nice straight line from knees to shoulders, or maybe it's toes tucked, knees lifted, heels trekking back. And this nice, beautiful line from your shoulders to your heels. Nice job. Take a peek at your hands. Make sure either your index finger or your middle finger is tracking toward the top edge of your mat. And that your wrists are under your shoulders or maybe slightly ahead of your shoulders. But you want your wrists to be in line with your shoulders, not too far out or not too far in. Beautiful. This way, when we bend our arms, our elbows can track back and we can hug our arms in toward our body as we set ourselves down. Let's go ahead and do that nice and slowly, exhaling all the way down. Beautiful. Release your feet so the tops of your feet are on the mat. And then bring your elbows under your shoulders, pressing into Sphinx pose. So forearms are parallel to the long edges of the mat. Palms pressing in, forearms pressing into the mat. Tops of your feet pressing into the mat, the kneecaps lift. And then you can extend from tailbone to crown, forward and then up. Allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. You might notice it more in your shoulder blades than your shoulders. And then on your exhale, go ahead and release back down. You can bring your arms alongside your body, palms facing up, and then just rest your forehead on the mat or your chin on the mat if that's more comfortable for you. And just take a breath here in a resting position before we start our locust variations. So I'll start by prompting our feet. We're going to do the opposite foot and opposite hand. So first time, we're going to start with the right foot. We'll lift right foot, lift left hand. Lift your chest off the mat as best you can, but keep the other two appendages pressing into the mat. Beautiful. And then just keep your neck nice and neutral here. So it's a gentle extension of your spine. We're here for one more breath. Feel those glutes firing as we do this. And then exhale to release that down. Inhale, left leg, right foot lift. Press the other two appendages into the mat. One more breath. Release on your exhale. Inhale, right leg, left hand. On your exhale, release. On your inhale, lift left leg, right hand.
On your exhale, release. Go ahead and lower your forehead or your chin to the mat and take a breath here, or you can turn so one cheek can rest on the mat, which that's what I prefer, to get a nice stretch in my neck as well. Returning to neutral, you can either do what we just did, or we can take a more traditional Chalandasana variation where we draw both arms back and then try to interlace the fingers behind your lower back and then draw the knuckles towards your heels. You can stay here with just your heart lifted, or you can lift your feet and your knees. Drawing your shoulder blades together, heart opening. Maybe you can get your thighs off the mat too. Maybe you can get your lower rib cage off the mat. Just trying to strengthen our back body as well as our core. One more breath here. Draw back up. You can do it. And then on your exhale, release everything back down. If you rested on one cheek the first time, turn to your other cheek and rest on the mat this time. And just relax everything, acknowledging that you can just melt into the floor. Last variation, you can do either of the two things we've already done, or in prepping for bow pose, you can bend one knee or both and then reach your hands back toward your ankles. I typically grasp right where my ankles meet my shin. And then with your feet flexed, try to lift your knees off the mat, which is a nice heart opener too. It's kind of like your chest just naturally goes when you do that. And if you're not there yet, that variation of half bow is a great lead into this. So you can lift the one knee, but press the opposite hand and leg into the mat. And then gradually you can lift and hover your hand and your foot. So if you're doing half bow, hang out for one more breath, try to reach your peak. And then release that knee down and go ahead and switch over to the other side. So grasping the ankle, lifting. If you're in full bow, you can do one more breath and then come down. If you're in half bow, try to hang out for two more breaths and then release. Either way, when you release, go ahead and stack your hands underneath your head this time. So your forehead can either rest on your hands as a pillow or your chin can. And just imagine the length of your spine, right? Your spine's working really hard for you right now and all these back bends. So imagine that you can create that space between each vertebrae in your spine right now before pressing back into a child's pose. So place your hands near your rib cage, shift your hips all the way back. If you traditionally do a child's pose with your knees under your chest, I'll encourage you to explore a child's pose with your toes together and your knees as wide as your mat. That can feel just as good. So do what feels good for you. Resting your forehead on the mat, maybe rocking it from side to side. Engaging that Ujjayi breath, or the breath that we practiced at the beginning of class. And then when you're ready, pressing your hips back into a downward facing dog. Beautiful. So bring your awareness to your positioning here. You want your feet approximately as wide as your hips and the heels tracking back, tailbone lifted, shoulder blades broad. So it's almost like you're externally rotating your upper arms. And then with pressing into all 10 fingertips here, especially that index finger and your thumb. And let's just start to open our hips here too. I have a dream of balanced half moon today, so we'll do some more hip openers than we normally do. if you can believe that. Go ahead and lift the right leg up to the sky here and find length in that right leg first. So you want to lift the right heel toward the sky, but not so much that you find that your hips start to shift out of balance, right? You want to keep them lifted, but lifted simultaneously. And then when you bend your right knee, that's when you stack your right hip on top of your left to open up that front hip flexor. And go ahead and rotate your ankle one direction and then the other. And then square off your hips. Try to straighten that leg and then float that foot back down toward the mat. I'm going to shift my mat forward a little bit.
Inhale, lift left leg up to the sky.
Keep that leg nice and straight, but keep your hips balanced. So you might lose some height on that left leg once you acknowledge that your hips are balanced. And then from there, bend the left knee and stack the left hip on top of the right. Noticing where you can feel that in your front hip flexor, your left leg. And then rotate your ankle one direction and then the other. And then square off your hips, straighten the leg, and then float that left foot to meet the right. Nice. Press both hips back up. And then go ahead and take that crisscross walk to the top of the mat. So right foot to the left side, left foot to the right side. Just balancing both hemispheres of our brain as we find our way to the top. Inhaling to a halfway lift when we arrive. Exhaling to fold. And then inhaling, rooting to rise, arms reach all the way up. Woo. And then exhale, hands to heart. Nice. All right, so from here, if you haven't chosen a mantra or an affirmation for today's practice, this is a great time to do that. Maybe it's, I can do this, right? Summer is starting. Everything's shifting. I can do it. Or I am patient, I am kind, I am curious about what life brings. Or you can always dedicate your practice to a loved one. When you're ready, bend your knees. Lift your arms all the way up to the sky. Straighten your legs, gaze between your hands. And then exhale to fold forward. Inhale to lift and lengthen your torso halfway. Exhale to release your hands to the mat. Go ahead and step your left foot back. Lower that knee if you wish. And then bring both arms to the sky. So either a low lunge or a high lunge, whatever feels good for you. Good. And then since we're in a high lunge, it looks like most of us, we will go ahead and bend that back knee and lower our arms on our exhale. And then inhale to lengthen that back leg and lift your arms back up. So just creating some gentle movement here. Exhaling, bending and lowering your hands. Inhaling, lifting and lengthening. One more. Exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. And then keeping this extension in your arms, especially your right arm extended, go ahead and hinge forward at your hips so that you're creating this like 45-degree angle-ish in your body. Good. And then you're going to lower your hands, but at this 45-degree angle. So your arms are in line with your torso. Good. So you're keeping some strength in your legs here as you hinge forward. And then one more breath. We'll lower our left hand down to the mat and then lift that right arm back up to the sky for that gentle twist. Nice. Snugging that right hip in and back as you do so. On your next exhale, lower your hand down. Inhale to plank position as you step your foot back. And then exhale to dog or take a vinyasa if you want. Exhaling to lower and then inhaling to lift. Cobra or up dog if you're ready. And then exhaling to downward facing dog. We'll do one more centering breath in down dog. And then maybe leading with the other foot this time, crisscross walk up to the top of the mat. When you arrive, inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, pressing into your feet.
Lifting your heart, your arms, your gaze, exhaling hands to heart. Full breath here before we repeat on the other side. On your inhale, bend your knees, scoop your arms up, look up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, release both hands, and this time step the right foot back. Keep that back knee lifted if you can. And then inhale, both arms lift up to the sky. Beautiful. So repeating on the left side, we'll bend that back knee, lower the hands, and then inhale, lengthen that back leg. Lift the arms back up. Beautiful. Exhale, bend and lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale. Inhale. Nice. Keeping the extension in our arms, just lean our torso forward, hinging at the hips, imagining that we're this beautiful 45-degree line from our heel to our fingertips, right? Imagining is just fine. If you're not exactly there, that's okay. And then bring your arms along your side, shoulders away from your ears, energy in your fingers as they reach back toward that back edge of the mat. Beautiful. One more breath here. Nice. Go ahead and lower the right hand to the mat and then lift that left arm back up. You can draw it like a bow and arrow, right? If you want, like just imagining it from the ground all the way up, or get it there any way you can, whatever feels good. My girls remind me that in archery, you don't really bring it back that far. So the analogy only goes so far anyway. When you're ready, on your next exhale, lower that left palm down. Inhale back to plank. Exhale to down dog or take a vinyasa. Lowering and then inhaling. Cobra with bent elbows, up dog with straight arms, pelvis lifted. And then downward facing dog. Take a couple extra breaths here. Tailbone lifted, shoulder blades broad, collarbones broad, ears between your arms. And then when you're ready, you can walk or hop or float to the top of the mat. If you're hopping, you want to bend your knees at the bottom of your exhale. Look between your thumbs and then lift. Hopefully landing a little bit quieter than I did. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhaling, rooting to rise. Exhaling, hands to heart. Everybody doing okay? Thumbs up if you are. I see it. Awesome. Thank you. One more breath here. Remember your mantra. Remember your person to whom you've dedicated your practice. When you're ready, inhale, bend your knees, lift your arms, your gaze, lengthen, and then exhale, fold forward, your version. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, releasing your hands, stepping your left foot back, but not all the way back. We're going to settle in for triangle pose here. So usually in triangle pose, my back foot is about a foot's length forward on the mat. So you can comfortably straighten both legs without worried about straining yourself in any way. And then, especially if you can hyperextend, remember to keep a soft bubble behind that front knee. Your right hand can come to your leg or a block or the floor. It doesn't matter to me if it's inside or outside. And then you want to draw your left arm all the way up in a straight line toward the sky. And you'll notice the stretch in your side body, especially your top side body. But you want to try to lengthen and extend this lower side body as well, so that you're not just crunching or collapsing here, but you're finding length in both sides of your torso. Beautiful. Gaze can be at the floor or the horizon, or maybe even at this extended hand if that's okay with your neck. Nice. Let the energy in your top hand lift you up. So you're lifting your torso off of the floor back into a complete lifted position where you can then bend your front knee, maybe heel toe your back foot back a little bit more and find yourself in this warrior two pose. Nice and strong. nice and powerful. So front knee is bent and tracking toward those outer toes. Back leg is straight, back edge of the foot pressing into the mat, and then lengthening from fingertip to fingertip, gazing over your front fingers. We'll reverse our warrior here, floating your palms, stretching it forward, up and back. Countering that triangle. With this, you can stretch your right side body as well. Nice, and from here is the half moon that I was envisioning. So kind of working your way back into this warrior two, and then looking at the floor, your right hand is gonna go 12 inches diagonal from your right pinky, okay? So you can see, and if you wanna hop this back foot forward, just to make it easier, please feel free to do that. So you can put a block there, or a book or anything else, 12 inches away from your pinky toe. Put a bend in that front leg, and then come put your weight on your front leg, your standing leg here, and then lift your back leg off the floor. And as you lift it, then you can begin to shift your hips. So your left hip starts to stack on top of the right. So you're trying to straighten both legs with your hips stacked, and then reach your left arm toward the sky. Good. Beautiful. My goodness. Corona has nothing on you, ladies. You rock. To get out of it, we're going to try to sneak back into that warrior two pose that we just did. So put your weight in your standing leg. It's already there. Put a bend in that front knee and just slide that back leg back. Nice. And then bend into your warrior two. Woohoo! Nice job. All right, windmill your hands down. And then you can either step it back to plank and then press into down dog, or take a vinyasa, whichever you prefer. You guys remembered that the key to balancing and balanced half moon is to breathe and maybe even to smile. Nice job. From your down dog, let's just step our left foot forward. So you can lift that left leg, back, and then bend that knee and try to sweep it toward the top of the mat. Yeah, so left foot forward, and I'm gonna shift so I can see you guys, sorry. So left foot forward, right leg back, and then heel toe that right leg forward a little bit, step that right leg forward so that you're not in your widest stance that you're ever in, right? So left foot forward, right leg not as far back as it could be. Seal off that back foot, straighten that left leg. Left arm comes to a block, either inside or outside your foot, or your shin, leg, whichever, and then right arm extends up into triangle pose on this side. Beautiful. So it's like the crown of your head is reaching away from your back foot. So you can really find length in that right side body, and then try not to dump into that left side body either. Good. Now, put a soft bubble behind that front knee, left knee, and then allow the energy in your right fingertips to lift your torso up. And then put a full bend in that front knee. Find yourself in your warrior two. Now, in this same stance, my knee is coming over my ankle, so I have to shift my stance and adjust, right? So that my knee stays safe. So my knee is either above or behind my ankle on my front foot. Good. So find your strong warrior two. Gazing over your front fingertips, shoulder blades sneaking together here so that you can open up across your chest as well. Some people used to say, imagine that you could hold a pencil between your shoulder blades. Great, Ava's making a face at me. Float your palms, stretch it forward, lean it up and back. Reversing our warrior here. Keeping that front knee bent and tracking over your outer toes, gorgeous. And then here we go. We're gonna find our way back to warrior two, and then imagine ourselves back in that half moon position. So you can step that back foot up a little bit just to ease your transition. I'm gonna shift a little bit too. Put your hand on the mat diagonal 12 inches away from the outer pinky toe. And then as you straighten your standing leg, lift that back leg and then extend the right arm toward the sky. Nice. So the goal being that eventually your hips are stacked, your heel is reaching toward the back of the room, and you're able to stay light on your fingertips, your left fingertips. So you don't have too much weight on them. I know, right? One more breath here. You guys look awesome. And then when you're ready, put a bend in that front knee and find your way gracefully back to your warrior two. And if not gracefully, then at least with a smile on your face, right? Excellent. All right, windmill those hands back down. That was gorgeous. And find yourself in a plank, but then lower your knees, sink your hips, child's pose. Beautiful job. All right, I know you guys are here for the hips, so we're gonna lift our hips back up into a downward facing dog. And then we'll get our way into pigeon, make our way into pigeon. So lifting the right leg up to the sky, bending that right knee, bring it in toward the right elbow. Now you can hold here for a breath. If you want an additional challenge, you can lower the knee toward your wrist on your exhale and then inhale it back up to your elbow, maybe once or twice. It's up to you how much you want to do it. And then inhale back to three-legged dog. Exhale, cross over the midline to your left elbow. Hold for a breath or play for a breath. And then inhale back up to three-legged dog. And then allow your right knee to settle into the mat behind your right wrist. Go ahead and help that foot over to the opposite side. And then walk your left toes back. Double check that your left leg is parallel to the long edge of the mat, that your right knee is closer to the outside of the edge of the mat than your right hip. Stack anything as you need to, and then settle on in. You guys look good. You know the drill by now. I'll set the timer for 2 minutes. Honor anything that comes up for you while you're in this position, this posture, this asana. To deepen the stretch, shift that right hip back, left hip forward. We're here for 3 more breaths. 2. 1. Releasing your hands to the mat.
Tuck your back toes so that you can step back to either a three-legged dog or a three-legged table with the right knee still bent so you can take circles in one direction and then the other, releasing any remaining tension in that hip before letting your foot return to the mat and pressing back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bring that left knee to your left elbow. Hover here for a breath or play for a breath. Lowering to your wrist and then lifting back to your elbow before pressing back to a three-legged dog. Exhale, cross the midline to your right elbow. Hover or play. And then back to a three-legged dog. And then exhale, left knee behind left wrist. Go ahead and help that foot over toward the right side. Walk your right toes back. Check your alignment since I am only a computer screen away and not 6 feet away from you in person. Right leg long, parallel to the right side of the mat. Left knee out to the outside of the left edge of the mat. Waist further out than your hip, and then settle on in. Trying to bring your forehead either in contact with the mat or in contact with your hands, just to keep this a safe and grounding position for you in case any stressful or anxious thoughts arise. Treating this pose as if we can empty our emotional junk drawer, just taking what's no longer serving you and thanking it for its service and wishing it well as you release it. Deepen the stretch by shifting your left hip back, right hip forward. We're here for 3 more breaths. 2. 1. Release your hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes. Allow yourself to return to a 3-legged dog or a 3-legged table so you can circle that left hip and knee one direction and then the other. And then releasing your foot to the mat, lift your hips back into a neutralizing down dog one final time. And then go ahead and lower your knees to the mat and swing your feet to one side, doesn't matter which one, so that you can rest your seat on the mat. Extend your legs long in front of you. Well, I don't teach this very often, but there's a pose where it's called Dandasana, staff pose, where you're just seated like this L shape, and then you press your hands into the mat near your hips and you straighten your arms. So everything can stay in contact with the mat, and then you're just energizing, engaging all of your muscles here. It looks like you're not doing very much, but really you are. If you want to try to lift your hips off the mat, you can do that as well. I always think I have these ridiculously long arms and I should be able to do this, but maybe I just need to keep practicing.
And then release out of that. Lift both arms up to the sky. Exhale, hinging at the hips, leading with your heart reaching towards your toes. And then whenever your heart can't reach anymore, then releasing your hands to the mat and just folding in here. Nice, I see it. Well done. As you inhale, bring that right foot with you. Press the right foot into the inner left thigh. Shift your seat so that you can be comfortable here with your right knee extended. And then inhale, both arms reach to the sky. Exhale, fold over that left leg. Crown of the head reaching toward the foot, toes staying energized. So on your next inhale, release, but bring your left foot with you this time, settling in for a round angle. So shift so that you're comfortable, and then maybe interlace your fingers around your toes if you wish. Inhaling, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, try to hinge at your hips again and fold forward here. Maybe using your elbows to keep pressing your legs open so that you can enjoy a nice stretch in the groin. Always remembering not to push to a certain point or position, but instead to feel it and knowing when you've met your appropriate edge. Right? And then inhale, release out of that. Exhale, extend the right leg this time. Make sure your sit bones are comfortable. As you inhale, both arms reach, and then exhale, fold over that right leg. Allowing the crown of your head to reach towards your toes, toes reaching toward the sky. And then releasing that, inhaling, go ahead and bring both feet to the mat, knees toward the sky, and we'll try to do just a tinge of core work, right? So whatever you're comfortable with, maybe your boat pose is with your hands on your knees as you lift your toes up, or maybe it's behind your knees, that's fine. Maybe you can extend both arms out in front of you. For some reason, I feel like I could do this before kids, and I'm still recovering. It's been a while. I wonder how many more decades I can use that excuse. If you're ready, extend one leg long, and then try to bring it back in. Extend the other leg long. Bring it back in. I'm right there with you guys. Welcome any prana or quaking or shifting or energy. See if you can extend both legs while keeping your navel drawing in and your back nice and flat. Not easy for me. And then as you lower your ankles toward the mat, lower everything down, maybe hover here for a bit, and then release. We did it. Thanks, solidarity. Thank you guys. Bring your feet to the mat, knees to the sky, and then feet as wide as the mat. Actually, I changed my mind. Go ahead and bring your left foot into the center of the mat and then cross your right leg on top. And then use your left hand to help your knees over to the left as you extend your right arm long, perpendicular to your body. Gaze over the extended arm if you want to deepen the stretch. And then allow the knees to return to the sky, uncross the legs. Lift your hips and then shift them over to the left as you cross your left leg on top. Use your right hand to help your knees over to the right side, and then extend your left arm long, perpendicular to your body. Gazing over the left arm to
Deepen the stretch. And then returning your knees to the sky, uncrossing your legs, shifting your hips, lifting them and shifting them back to the middle, and then lifting your toes off the mat, grasping your knees with your hands so that your arms stay extended. And just do these little circles here where you're pressing your hip and then your lower back into the mat, and then your other hip, and then your tailbone. Continuing in that same direction one more time, just very slowly and mindfully bringing a release to your lower back, and then pausing and shifting the direction of your circles. And then releasing your feet to the mat, and one at a time extending them to the outer corners of your mat, coming into a comfortable position for you for Shavasana. And I'll walk you through it. I'll start some music. Let's start always with the breath, right? First, a complete full inhale, and then a complete exhale. Another just like that, full and complete inhale, full and complete exhale. And begin to relax your entire body, starting with your toes, your feet, your ankles, relax and release your calves, your knees, your quadriceps, your hamstrings. Relax and release your glutes, your hips, your lower back, relax and release your side bodies, your rib cage, your shoulder blades, your shoulders. Traveling down the arms, relax and release your fingers, your hands, your wrists. Relax and release your forearms, your elbows, your biceps and your triceps. Your clavicle, your neck, your jaw. Relax and release your cheeks, your temples, your eyelids, your tongue away from the roof of your mouth, your forehead, and the crown of your head beyond. You can choose to stay in this Shavasana for a continued meditation, a visualization, if you will, or you can choose to slowly and mindfully return to a seated position. Whatever brings you comfort at this time. Imagine that you are outside on a beautiful day. The sun is shining on you, and you are taking a walk in an open field. Imagine you notice a majestic oak tree standing at the center of this field. You walk over to it and sit down to rest your back against its solid trunk. You feel peaceful and protected beneath the branches of this wise old tree. Listening closely, you begin to hear the tree whispering to you through the breeze. Its voice is kind and caring. It says to you, picture it, and it will be. As you ponder this message a moment, you begin to think of something you would like to do well. Whatever it is, imagine yourself doing it with ease. Imagine it coming naturally. Stay with this picture now. Notice how you feel when you see yourself achieving what you wish to achieve. You might feel confident or powerful or proud. The tree whispers again. Remember, picture it, and it will be. Be who you want to be and make your dreams a reality. What a gift. You know that when there is something you would like to be or do well, you can take a few moments to close your eyes and visualize yourself being or doing it very easily. Let that resonate with you as you feel the feeling of what that is like. Anytime we are given a gift, we say thank you. So we will thank this ancient wise tree for reminding us that if we picture it, it will be. Listening closely, you might hear the tree whisper back, "You are very welcome. Know that the wisdom is always inside of you." When you are ready, take a long, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale, letting it all go. 2 more times, breathing in deeply and fully, breathing out to let it go. When you are ready, begin to stretch so that you can return to a seated position. First, giving yourself a hug, or maybe if you're already seated, giving yourself a hug. We did it. We took the time to honor our needs today so we can better serve those around us, virtually or physically. Returning to a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Together, let's bring our hands to our heart so we can inhale, calm, exhale, dis-ease, inhale, curiosity, exhale, judgment, Inhale love. Exhale fear. Yogis, the light and the love in me sees and honors the light and the love in you. And the light and the love in you sees and honors that in all those around you. In gratitude to all our teachers, together we say, Namaste. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you joining me this morning for our practice.
Dear, oh yeah. Okay.
Like this, right? This is all I see anytime I do a video. It's like massive cowlick. Like, hairspray does not work. Well, at least the hairspray that we had in my house 10 years ago that made the move.
Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good. I'm glad we were able to take a couple extra minutes. Thanks for being. It's easier to meditate after you've already moved. It just, for me, it is. I don't know. Cool. All right. Have a great day.
Bye. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.